The grand chamber of the Galactic Council shimmered with bioluminescent lighting, casting an ethereal glow across the assembled representatives of 27 spacefaring civilizations. Dr. Sarah Chen tried not to fidget as she stood at the petitioner's podium, maintaining her professional demeanor despite the literal elephant in the room. Ambassador Koch of the Pachydermy Collective, who kept shooting her condescending glances through all four of his eyes. "The human vessel that brought you here," remarked High Counselor Zixtal of the ZXTilian Empire, his mantis-like head tilting at an unsettling angle, "utilized crude fusion propulsion. Our younglings build more sophisticated drives in their recreation periods." A ripple of translator-assisted chitters and burbles swept through the chamber. Dr. Chen forced herself to smile diplomatically, though her hand tightened on the podium's edge. She'd expected mockery, but the sheer disdain in the chamber was reaching impressive levels. "While our technology may not match yours yet," she began, "humanity has made remarkable progress in just a few centuries of industrial development." "Progress?" interrupted Ambassador Bloopty of the gelatinous Concordat, their translucent form rippling with obvious amusement. "Your species still relies on chemical rockets for orbital insertion. My own people had mastered gravity manipulation before we learned to reproduce by binary fission." More laughter. Chen's smile tightened further. "And let us address the psychological evaluations," Zextor continued, mandibles clicking. "Your species exhibits alarming levels of emotional instability. You respond to simple stimuli with wildly inappropriate humor. You attach significance to the most meaningless coincidences. You anthropomorphize everything from your primitive computing machines to your wheeled transport vehicles." "That's not entirely," Chen tried to interject. "You name your cleaning apparatus," exclaimed Katnock, trunk waving in apparent distress. "The psychological profile indicates a human maintenance technician who spoke daily to a cleaning drone he called Dusty. This is not the behavior of a species ready for inclusion in galactic society." The chamber erupted in another wave of multilingual mockery. Chen could feel her cheeks burning, but kept her spine straight. She'd known this would be an uphill battle, but she hadn't expected quite this level of condescension. Zixtal raised all four arms for silence. "After careful consideration of the evidence presented, this council finds that humanity is far too emotionally unstable for membership at this time. Perhaps in another few centuries, once you've achieved a more rational outlook." "I'm sorry," Chen interrupted, a glint appearing in her eye that would have worried anyone who knew her well. "Just to be clear, you're saying we're too emotionally unstable?" "Precisely," Zixtal confirmed, mandibles clicking in satisfaction. Chen's lips curved into what could technically be called a smile, though it held a distinctly predatory edge. "Hi, too emotionally unstable. I'm Sarah." The chamber fell into absolute silence. The only sound was a quiet blue as Ambassador Bloopty's gelatinous form quivered in apparent distress. Zixtal's antennae went completely rigid. Katok's trunk drooped limply. Chen maintained eye contact with the High Counselor, her expression pleasant but unyielding. She'd spent months studying alien psychology and physiology. She knew exactly what she'd just done, and more importantly, she now knew it had worked exactly as theorized. The silence stretched for nearly 30 seconds before Zextal finally spoke, his translator struggling to convey the strange harmonics in his voice. "This session is adjourned for recursive contemplation. Guards, please escort the human representative to her quarters." As Chen was led from the chamber, she couldn't quite suppress her smirk. The first test had been successful. Now she just had to get word back to Earth that Project Dad Joke was viable as a diplomatic weapon. Behind her, she could still hear Ambassador Bloopty making small, distressed, blooping sounds. Dr. Sarah Chen stared at the readout on her quantum Zepsi monitor, then back at the twitching ZXTilian diplomat lying on the medbay floor. The mantis-like alien's antennae were still spasming from what the medical staff had initially assumed was an allergic reaction to Earth's atmosphere. "Play it again," she ordered the security AI. The holoscreen flickered to life, showing engineer Dave Murphy's first encounter with Ambassador XTKLVZ in the station's mess hall 12 hours ago. "Dave, a notorious purveyor of dad jokes among the human crew, had been trying to make small talk. "So you folks don't eat Earth food, huh?" Dave had asked, stirring his lunch. "That's a shame. What do you call a fake noodle?" The ambassador's translator had barely processed the question when Dave delivered the punchline. "An impasta." The reaction was instantaneous. XTKLVZ's neural crystals, the organocrystalline structures all spacefaring species used for faster-than-light communication, had flared bright purple. The ambassador collapsed, mandibles twitching, while every alien within 20 meters grabbed their head equivalents in apparent agony. "Look at this wavelength pattern," Dr. Chen pointed to a spike in the readings. "It matches exactly with the delivery of the punchline. The groaning energy, I can't believe I'm saying this scientifically, actually created a localized disruption in their telepathic field." General Martinez pinched the bridge of his nose. "Doctor, are you telling me that a dad joke caused an interstellar incident?" "Not exactly, sir." She pulled up another diagram. "I'm telling you that humanity just accidentally discovered a non-lethal weapon that affects every advanced species we've encountered. Their evolved telepathic abilities make them vulnerable to, well, cringe." "Dear God," the general whispered, "the ultimate defense system was inside us all along. Inside dads." The next 48 hours were a blur of activity. The Pentagon established a new top-secret facility faster than anyone thought possible. The D.A.D initiative, Department of Aggressive Dad Humor, was born, with Dr. Chen appointed as chief researcher. Her first report to the Joint Chiefs was one for the history books. "The mechanism is fascinating," she explained to the room of stone-faced military leaders. "All advanced species develop neural crystals to facilitate faster-than-light travel and communication. These crystals operate on quantum telepathic principles we barely understand, but they share one critical weakness. They can't handle the unique cognitive dissonance created by dad jokes." "How does that even work?" Admiral Jackson demanded. "The setup creates a quantum superposition of meaning. The listener's brain prepares for multiple potential outcomes. The punchline forces a collapse of that superposition in an intentionally disappointing way. For humans, this triggers a groaning response. For beings with telepathic crystals, it causes a cascade failure in their neural networks." "Like a computer crash," General Martinez suggested. "More like a computer experiencing existential dread," Chen corrected. "We've classified different types of dad jokes based on their effects. Puns cause general disorientation, play-on-word jokes can trigger temporary paralysis, and knock-knock jokes." She shuddered. "Let's just say they're banned under the Geneva Convention now." The briefing room screen displayed their first test results. They'd recruited 50 dads from local community centers and measured their grown generation potential. The numbers were shocking. "New fathers are like nuclear reactors of dad humor," Chen continued. "Sleep deprivation apparently enhances their ability to generate truly horrible puns. And divorced dads? Their jokes show a 47% increase in cringe factor. We think it's related to their need to overcompensate with humor." The Joint Chiefs exchanged worried glances as Chen pulled up the final slide, a blueprint labeled D.A.D, Dad Joke Amplification Device. "With this device, we can focus and amplify dad joke energy into a directed beam weapon. One dad asking, 'Hi, hungry, I'm Dad,' could theoretically incapacitate an entire alien battlecruiser." As if on cue, alarms began blaring throughout the facility. A junior officer burst into the room, face pale. "Sir, the ZX-Tillions just launched a flotilla from their lunar base. They're demanding we cease our psychological warfare research immediately." General Martinez stood, jaw set firmly. "Dr. Chen, is the DJJ prototype operational?" She nodded grimly. "We have Dave from engineering standing by with his entire repertoire of pasta-based puns." "God help us all," the general muttered. "Deploy the dad jokes. May heaven have mercy on their neural crystals." And thus began humanity's strangest arms race, the weaponization of history's most groan-worthy form of humor. The universe would never see it coming. But then again, that's what made it dad joke. Welcome to D.A.D. Force Basic Training, gentlemen, Sergeant Mike Triple Dad Thompson bellowed across the auditorium filled with recruits. You're here because you possess a very particular set of skills. Skills that make you a nightmare for aliens with advanced neural architecture. The assembled crowd was unlike any military gathering in history. Middle-aged men in cargo shorts and New Balance sneakers sat beside sleep-deprived new fathers wearing baby spit-up-stained T-shirts. In the back, a special section had been reserved for the elite division, divorced dads whose dad joke capabilities had tested off the charts. "What do you call this elite fighting force?" called out one recruit. Thompson grinned. "Special ops. Like when your kid asks you to look at something. Special, yep, those sure are ops." The resulting wave of groans registered a 7.3 on the data scale. 3 alien observers in the shielded monitoring room clutched their neural crystals in agony. Stride translating what from behind protective glass made notes on her quantum tablet. Incredible. Their natural ability to generate spontaneous dad jokes actually improves in the presence of other dads. It's like they're feeding off each other's energy. The training regimen was unlike anything the military had ever implemented. Instead of physical fitness, recruits underwent rigorous wordplay exercises. Instead of weapons maintenance, they practiced delivery timing. The base cafeteria was renamed the Puntagon. "Remember," Thompson demonstrated to his squad, "different species require different tactical approaches. Zextillions are vulnerable to workplace puns due to their hive mind society. What's a mantis's favorite TV show? Better Call Antennae." In another training room, Master Sergeant Bill Weber, a divorced father of 3 teenagers, was teaching advanced techniques. "Weather jokes are particularly effective against the bloop-ups," he explained. "Their gelatinous form makes them hypersensitive to environmental humor. Watch this. What did the cloud wear to the party? A thunderwear." The test bloop-up in the observation chamber lost cohesion and had to be scooped into a containment vessel. But the crown jewel of the program was the Dad Joke Amplification Device. Dr. Chen led the demonstration in the facility's main testing range. "The D.A.D works by capturing the quantum cringe energy generated by dad jokes and focusing it into a coherent beam," she explained. "We've managed to increase effective range by 300% by incorporating actual dad accessories into the design." The device looked like a cross between a particle accelerator and a backyard grill. The targeting system was controlled by a modified television remote, and the power source was, inexplicably, a thermostat that no one was allowed to touch. "Why a thermostat?" asked General Martinez. "Dad energy resonance," Chen replied seriously. "You know how dads are about thermostats." The first full-scale test of the D.A.D was historic. They selected Jim Anderson, a newly divorced father of twins, as the gunner. His target, a decommissioned alien shuttle donated for research. Jim took his position, adjusted his cargo shorts, and grabbed the remote control with practiced ease. "What kind of music do planets listen to?" The D.A.D hummed to life, quantum crystals aligning with his dad energy signature. "Neptunes." The beam of concentrated dad humor struck the shuttle's neural crystal navigation system. The entire ship briefly glowed with a terrible dad-colored aura before every crystal simultaneously shattered. The observation room erupted in cheers, punctuated by several "Hi" cheering "I'm Dad" responses that caused a minor feedback loop in the DJ's systems. But their greatest breakthrough came from an unexpected source. During a routine training exercise, they discovered that dad jokes could be modified for enhanced tactical effect through the strategic deployment of finger guns. The kinetic component of finger guns adds a physical dimension to the quantum cringe effect, Dr. Chen explained, watching as a trainer demonstrated the devastating point-and-pun technique. "It's like adding a laser sight to emotional warfare." As the program advanced, they began developing specialized units. The new Dad Night Ops Squad utilized sleep deprivation enhanced humor capabilities. The Soccer Dad Rangers specialized in sports puns delivered from minivans, and the elite Grill Sergeant unit combined cooking puns with tactical barbecue operations. The morning of their graduation ceremony, Sergeant Thompson addressed his troops one final time. "Gentlemen, you are now part of history's most powerful dad joke fighting force. You've mastered the art of psychological groan fare. You've learned to weaponize knock-knock jokes so terrible they're banned by international treaty. You've become what aliens fear most, dads with purpose." He paused for dramatic effect. "What do you call a dad who's ready to defend Earth?" The assembled troops answered in perfect unison. "A guardian." The resulting groaning energy cracked every window in the facility and was detected by seismic monitors in 3 states. They were ready for war. Unfortunately, the ZXtillions chose that exact moment to launch their first attack. As alert sirens blared across the base, Thompson turned to his troops with a grim smile. "Well, dad joke warriors, looks like it's time to face the music, or as I like to call it, the symphony of dad-struction." Even the emergency sirens seemed to groan. The Zextillion battle fleet emerged from hyperspace in perfect formation, their crystalline ships refracting sunlight like angry diamonds. Admiral Zextal's face filled every communication screen on Earth, mandibles clicking with barely contained rage. "Your species' psychological assault cannot be tolerated," the Admiral's translated voice boomed. "Surrender your dad joke research facilities, or we will be forced to contain humanity permanently." In the Pentagon's newly christened D.D. Command Center, General Martinez watched as conventional weapons bounced harmlessly off the alien ship's shields. Nuclear deterrence had been deemed too risky. No one wanted to find out if radiation would just make the aliens more annoyed. "Get me Commander Johnson," Martinez barked. "Now." Commander Steve Triple Dad Johnson was a legend in the DD initiative. 3 kids under the age of 10 had honed his dad jokes to weapons-grade precision. He'd once made an entire room of hardened Marines groan so hard they pulled muscles. "Reporting for duty, sir," Johnson's hologram snapped to attention, though he was clearly holding a world's okayest dad coffee mug. "Permission to engage with extreme dad humor? Granted. God help us all." Johnson took position at the D-JAT control station, adjusting his frequency to broadcast directly into the alien fleet's neural crystal communication network. He cleared his throat. "Hey, Admiral," Johnson's voice carried across space itself. "Why don't aliens like idioms?" The entire command center held its breath. Sensor operators reported sudden spikes in neural crystal activity across the ZXtillion fleet. Because they take everything literally, the effect was immediate and catastrophic. 3 smaller ships immediately lost power, their crews presumably incapacitated by the psychic backlash. The Admiral's flagship began listing to port as navigation crystals flickered erratically. "You dare?" Zixtel began, but Johnson was just warming up. "What do you call an alien with 3 feet? Not a very good math teacher." More ships began reporting system failures. The Admiral's own neural crystals were visibly pulsing with distressed purple light. "Stop this at once," Zixtal demanded, but his voice was weakening. "This is a violation of—" "What did the alien say when he was out of space?" Johnson grinned. "I need some room." The flagship's shield started fluctuating wildly. Emergency signals flared across the fleet as crew members succumbed to the relentless assault of purposefully terrible humor. "Sir," a sensor operator reported, "I'm detecting massive neural disruptions throughout their fleet. Their crystals are going into some kind of protective shutdown." Johnson leaned forward, delivering his coup de grace. "Why did the alien go to the doctor?" "Because it had space jam." Zextal's transmission cut out mid-mandible click. Across the Zextillion fleet, ships began powering down as their crystal-based systems initiated emergency protocols to protect themselves from further dad joke exposure. "Status report," Martinez demanded. 15 enemy vessels completely disabled, the tactical officer reported. "The rest are retreating at sublight speeds. Their FTL crystals appear to be—" "Sir, according to these readings, they're suffering from second-hand embarrassment." Commander Johnson took a satisfied sip from his mug. "Should I prepare another volley, sir? I've got some great material about alien parking. They always need more meteor space." "Stand down, Commander." Martinez ordered quickly before Johnson could unleash another pun. I think they've had enough for one day. As the Zextillion fleet limped away from Earth, Martinez couldn't help but smile. Humanity had just won its first interstellar battle with nothing but bad jokes and perfect timing. In the corner, Dr. Chen was already taking notes for her paper, The Strategic Application of Paternal Humor in Xenological Combat Scenarios. She had a feeling it would be classified for at least a century. The largest fleet in galactic history emerged from hyperspace, darkening Earth's skies. Ships from every major species hung in orbit, the crystalline arcologies of the Zextillions, the floating spheres of the Bluepups, even the massive organic hive ships of the rarely seen quantum comedic order. This ends now, the combined alien council transmitted. Surrender your dad joke capabilities or face extinction. In the D.A.D. command bunker, Dr. Chen burst into the war room clutching a quantum tablet, her hair wild from 3 days without sleep. General, the results from the large dad joke collider, they're impossible, the energy signatures. They're tapping into something fundamental, something that existed before the universe itself. Doctor, Martinez snapped, we're about to face extinction. Make it quick. Don't you see? She projected a complex mathematical model showing waves of dad joke energy interacting with spacetime itself. The groans, the cringe, the inexplicable compulsion to tell these jokes. It's all connected to the cosmic background radiation of the universe. We're not just making bad jokes, we're manipulating the fundamental awkwardness woven into reality. The room fell silent as the implications sank in. Are you saying, Commander Johnson asked slowly, that the universe itself is one big dad joke? Exactly, and humans are the only species who evolved to naturally channel this energy. We're not emotionally unstable, we're cosmic cringe manipulators. The alien ultimatum interrupted her explanation. You have 5 Earth minutes to surrender. Martinez looked at his assembled dad joke warriors. Can we weaponize this revelation? Already done. Chen pointed to a modified D.A.D. We've recalibrated the global broadcast system to resonate with the cosmic cringe frequency. One massive dad joke burst, amplified by the fundamental awkwardness of existence itself. The mother of all dad jokes, Johnson whispered reverently. Actually, Chen corrected, the father of all dad jokes. The groan that followed registered on seismographs. Martinez surveyed his troops. Deploy the dad joke weapons, all of them, and God have mercy on their neural crystals. The next 4 minutes were a blur of activity. Every dad joke warrior took position at specially modified D.A.Ds. The global broadcast system powered up, tapping into the newly discovered cosmic cringe wavelength. Remember, Chen advised, the jokes need to be astronomically bad to achieve resonance with the universal field. Commander Johnson stepped up to the main broadcast console. Above them, the alien fleet began charging weapons. What's an alien's favorite planet? His voice carried on waves of quantum cringe energy. Neptuning. The first wave struck the fleet. Ships began to shudder as the cosmic background radiation itself amplified the groan effect. But Johnson wasn't finished. How do aliens organize a party? They plan it. Neural crystals across the fleet began overloading. The Bluepups started losing cohesion. The quantum comedic order reported impossible readings in the humor spectrum. Warning, the alien council transmitted, their voice distorted by growing interference. You're destabilizing the very fabric of... Wait, is that why humans laugh at entropy? Because everything is literally a cosmic joke? Now, Chen shouted. Every dad joke warrior fired simultaneously, their combined groan energy harmonizing with the universe's fundamental awkwardness field. What do you call an alien with no nose? Nobody knows. Why don't aliens eat space food? It's a meteor cream meal. What's an alien's favorite James Bond movie? The Spy Who Probed Me. The effect was beyond anything they'd predicted. A visible wave of cringe energy rippled through space, causing temporary distortions in the fabric of reality itself. Ships began powering down as their crystal-based technology refused to function in the presence of such concentrated dad humor. But the real shock came from the quantum comedic order. Their eldest sage transmitted a final message before their ships retreated. We understand now. Humans aren't primitive. They're the only species capable of consciously manipulating the cosmic joke that underlies all of reality. They are the Dad Joke Masters we spoke of in ancient prophecies. As the alien fleet withdrew in disarray, Chen's instruments detected something remarkable. The background radiation of the universe itself seemed to be chuckling. Did we just, Martinez asked slowly, make the cosmos laugh? No, sir, Chen replied, studying her readings with wonder. We made it groan, and in doing so we proved that humanity's greatest weakness, our inexplicable love of terrible jokes, was actually our greatest strength. Commander Johnson looked thoughtful. So, when my kids say my jokes are destroying the universe, they're technically correct, Chen confirmed, just not in the way they meant. The victory celebration was interrupted by a transmission from the retreating alien council. We hereby recognize Earth's supremacy in matters of cosmic humor manipulation. Please, just stop with the jokes. Martinez turned to his troops. Stand down, the dad joke weapons. I think they've learned their lesson. Or as I like to call it, Johnson added, their lesson plan, et. The resulting groan cracked windows across 3 continents and made the moon briefly orbit sideways. Some say that to this day the cosmic background radiation occasionally produces unexplained patterns that sound suspiciously like rim shots. The Grand Chamber of the Galactic Council looked markedly different from Dr. Chen's first visit. For one thing, all the alien delegates were now sitting behind quantum crystalline shields. For another, there was a distinct lack of condescension in the air. It had been replaced by something that felt suspiciously like nervous respect. High Counselor Zextal, still occasionally twitching from exposure to the Space Jam incident, called the session to order. In light of humanity's unique defensive capabilities, he began, mandibles clicking cautiously, the Council has unanimously voted to grant Earth immediate membership status. Additionally, we are prepared to offer significant technological exchanges in return for certain guarantees regarding the deployment of DAD-based weaponry. Chen smiled diplomatically. We're happy to establish reasonable restrictions on dad joke proliferation, though I should warn you, we've discovered that mum jokes are even more powerful. We're still studying the devastating effects of, I brought you into this world, I can take you out of it. The entire chamber shuddered. We would also, Ambassador Blupti burbled from within their protective bubble, request training in controlled applications of this power. Our preliminary studies suggest that carefully administered dad jokes might have medical applications, particularly in treating neural crystal calcification. Of course, Chen agreed. We've already established the Intergalactic Institute of Dad Humor Studies, though I should warn you, the entrance exam is a real dadinger. Several emergency medical teams rushed to assist fallen delegates. The signing ceremony was surprisingly quick, possibly because everyone was afraid Chen might make another pun. As she pressed her palm to the quantum signature pad, officially making Earth the 28th member of the Galactic Council, she couldn't resist one final diplomatic gesture. You know what Earth said when it joined the Council? She asked, ignoring the visible panic in the chamber. Now we're really going places. The sound of multiple alien appendages hitting multiple alien foreheads echoed through the chamber. Ambassador Kurtok actually managed to face trunk with all 4 arms simultaneously, a feat previously thought physically impossible. Back on Earth, the celebration was equally historic. The D.A.D Initiative headquarters had been converted into the first Galactic Dad Joke Academy, where alien students learned the sacred art of paternal humor under strict safety protocols. Commander Johnson headed the faculty, though he was under strict orders to limit himself to 1 pun per class. In the newly established Earth Embassy, Dr. Chen hung a plaque commemorating humanity's unique path to the stars. It read, "To all who said humanity wasn't ready for the cosmos. Hi, not ready for the cosmos, we're humanity." She'd had to pay extra for the quantum shielding around the plaque, but it was worth it to keep the cleaning staff from passing out. As she looked out her office window at the glittering expanse of space, Chen reflected on how far they'd come. Humanity had turned its greatest source of second-hand embarrassment into its greatest strength. They'd proven that sometimes the best defense was a good offense, particularly when that offense involved asking what kind of shoes asteroids wear, space boots. Her Quartum comm chimed. It was General Martinez. "Doctor, you need to see this. Our long-range sensors just picked up a new alien species approaching the galaxy. Their ships appear to be powered by sarcasm." Chen smiled. "Well, General, I know just the group to handle first contact. Get me the teenagers." The universe, it seemed, hadn't finished laughing yet. But at least now humanity was in on the joke. And somewhere in deep space, a Zedextillion ship captain was still trying to explain to his crew why the chicken actually crossed the road.